Hello, good afternoon, viewers. This is Satellite Media. You are Mr. Sir?
Dickin Johnson.
Okay, Dickin Johnson. Let's all look at what is happening in the country. Because recently, we saw for the first time the son of the president talking about Seyi Tinubu moving around all the parts of the north, trying to reach out to the needy, trying to reach out to the poor in what looks like a giveaway. But surprisingly, the north is turning around to say you are sharing food for northerners and giving laptop to southwesterners. In the same vein, we saw an Obi who was virtually going to every part of the northern state to dig borehole, to drip borehole. But the northern elements who did not want a southerner to come there and have influence, have political influence, take on Obi and said Obi is bringing about borehole that is not qualitative enough. This time around, they are attacking Seyi Tinubu. What is your view?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is Nigerian politics, and like I've always told people, Nigerian politics with its kind of uniqueness, with its kind of peculiarity. I call it a theater of the absurd, a theater of all sorts of contraptions, all sorts of strange things, strange bedfellows, all sorts of abnormalities, all sorts of so all sorts of things that they take place in Nigeria. So things we never expected. People never expected they could work together. People never expected they could become sworn enemies. You see them come together. So it is not undone. Don't forget, in Nigeria, this is a place where you hear cases. You hear people talking of Amalandebi politics. That's a brand of politics. Instituted by the late Lamida Adedibu in Ibadan. We have stomach infrastructure politics, put in place by popularized by Fayose in Ekiti. Stomach infrastructure politics. You hear of Nakai politics. Our own is our own, popularized in the north. You hear of the Talakawa politics, popularized by the late Aminu Kanu those days. So it depends on the way you feel things. It depends on your own approach, your own modality to winning your audience, winning your voting populace to your side. It depends on the whatever gimmicks, whatever.
Let me jump in here, sir. Because we have a situation where Dr. Garos Galolu is everywhere telling the president that they not made a mistake voting for you in 2023. The mistake is said they don't hope to repeat in 2027. And apart from that, we have not seen Northern Elders Forum coming out in clear terms to say that they will give consideration to a Northern candidate in 2027. And Middlebelt is saying we are not going along with the North this time around. We are going to go with Tinubu. Do you think a Tinubu have an inroad into the North from 2027?
And those people you're talking about Dr. Jalolo, talking about ACF. Where was ACF even in 2023? These are people without any known moral justification to talk about Tinubu percent. In any case, the Arewa Consultative never voted, never rooted for Tinubu during the 2023 general election. Besides, most of those people, those names being mentioned, those characters, those funny individuals, and they are political non-entities. These are people without any known identifiable political base in the north. So we have people calling the shot in the north today. We have the likes of Badaru Abubakar. Those are the people being respected in the north today. Even Dr. Jalolo, well, in his home state, perhaps in Adamawa, he will not control the kind of command, the kind of followership, the kind of court followership of Ribadu in the north. Those guys have no, they are just trying to grandstand and just to create attention, just to create a kind of command the attention of the presidency. It's normal in a polity like this. It's a welcome idea, but by the time you now go there somewhere by saying that you are not going to root for Tinubu, you are not going to work with Tinubu come 2000, and by so doing Tinubu will lose in 2027. That's laughable. But they don't have that kind of
let me bring this question. What message do you have for those who are said because the popularity of Tinubu is going down in the north? That is why Seyi Tinubu is trying to go there to rekindle the hope of the northerners in Tinubu presidency.
Who are the northerners being talked about? Unless the word Northerners change its meaning.
One saying it.
I understand what you're saying now.
Under protest, people were virtually calling for military intervention in the north as a way of being dissatisfied with the approach of the current government. So people are saying that because the north are already losing interest in Tinubu's administration, that is why Seyi Tinubu is drafted to go and market Tinubu in the north again.
Most of the arguments being put forward by all these people, those arguments I see as a mere elitist argument. Those are the few similarly educated guys in the north. The real voters in the north, they will not come out to say all that. The real voters in the north and the fringes, they are in the interlands of Borno. They are in Bama, they are in Baga, they are in Mishika, they are in Mubi, in Adamawa. Those are the real voters calling this swing, pulling the swing in the north. And that's an elitist argument.
Okay, now let me take this argument conversation to another direction, because you did mention the then strong man of Ibadan politics.
The late
you mentioned, maybe you didn't mention the then popular man in Kwara, talking about Saraki. So the point I'm making here is currently we have a situation where in River State, one man seems to be cutting the shot, talking about the FCT minister. Recently, we saw the Supreme Court judgment, and in what looked like the presidency taking side, the imposed state of emergency in that state. We have seen so many positions to that state of emergency, ranging coming from NBA, coming from Jonathan and Obasanjo, and even the presidential ally, talking about Professor Olejeka, have come out to criticize the president on it. I thought we have done with God for that reason.
Like I told somebody a while ago, our democracy is a process. It's a journey. It is not a destination. It is a gradual thing. We are gradually getting there. We are making progress. Don't forget our democracy, whether people like it or not, is a nascent democracy. It's just 25 or 26 years old. You wouldn't liken our democracy to a democracy like America and other sinner climes that is as old as 350, 100 years old. We gradually getting there. It's interesting to know that there are certain things, certain mistakes we committed 20, 25 years ago under Obasanjo that are not repeatable these days. There are some certain steps, missteps, misadventures we had 10 years ago under Goodluck, under Yaradua, that I wouldn't French do them today, simply because we are making progress. It's gradually growing, it's evolving, it's developing. So most of those people you talk about, the likes of Obasanjo and other well-meaning Nigerians, unfortunately, a vast majority of them, they don't even have the moral justification to condemn Mr. President concerning the state of emergency.
Obasanjo did the same thing, but let me bring this angle. And Obasanjo did the same thing.
So I was coming there.
Someone like Jonathan imposed state of emergency under his watch.
The template is different. The template is different. Of course, he did that. In this case, Mr. President is he's been proactive. He's been proactive. Don't forget. In any given political administration, in any given setup, the primary responsibility of any government is the security of lives and property. And the honors lies on Mr. President to be proactive, to protect lives. The looming loss of lives, the imminent breakdown of law and order in River State, as threatened by those militants in the creeks. He should Fubara be impeached. You're talking about partiality. What do you mean by partiality? So, which one is even better? For Mr. President to let loose those assembly members to carry out their impeachment threat against Fubara, or to declare a state of emergency whereby both camps will be sacked? Which one is partial? Which one is partisan? Is it not better to sack both camps and to maintain a semblance of balancing, a semblance of fairness and equity, than sacking only Fubara, allowing them to sack him? And the whole place is just thrown into chaos. So Mr. President is trying to maintain law and order, according to this security report available to him, that any time from now, those guys, they will go back to the creek. And of course, you know, the kind of sabotage that will go with bombing of pipelines. The country will lose in millions of dollars. So the burden lies on Mr. President to be proactive before they start doing all that, to do what he sees.
Let me bring this question. Beyond being proactive, like the militaries have subjected Section 305 of 1999 Constitution as amended to scrutiny, to the extent that it does not empower the president to unilaterally remove a sitting governor.
Where were those when we applied the doctrine of necessity during the Yar'Adua administration to install Mr. President Goodluck Ebele as the acting president? So if the truth of the matter is that some things are giving political solutions as against the courtroom solution, as against the legal approach. So in your laws are made for people. People are not made for laws, for crying out loud. There are sometimes you apply executive order, you apply the prerogative of Mr. President as against laws to return sanity, to inject sanity in the politics.
Because what we are saying is that by so doing, by this act of Mr. President, that the rule of law is now a meritorious, that they have no force of the law. But beyond that, let me take you to what is happening in Kogi State.
Kogi?
And as we speak today, the Attorney General have asked the Senate leadership to resign. Talking about the issue involving Senator Natasha Agoti, who is facing recall. And as we speak, I have come back to say that those that submitted petition against her did not meet their own criteria, because according to them, phone numbers and addresses of those who signed it.
That of Natasha is better forgotten than discussed. They are playing to the gallery. Those attempting to recall. And never in the annals of this country has anybody been successfully recalled. They thought with the idea of recalling Dino Melaye 9 years ago, it failed. It was a woeful failure. And just like the case of Melaye, like Natasha, that of Natasha too will hit the rock. It will not stay true. They will not make it. I don't see them getting the required figure, the required number to get him recalled. In any case, it is not in bad faith. Why would you want to recall him? That's nothing but political vindictiveness, political perfidy. Right? By trying to recall him simply because she's hearing her views, simply because she's expressing her views. And we need characters like that in the polity to maintain a kind of check and balance in the system. We need more of Natasha in the system.
They claim to have gotten up to 50% signatories of registered voters in her constituency.
How feasible are those signatories?
They claim.
That's yes.
That INEC said, as part of our process, if you submit petition, the only now on us to go and verify the veracity of your claim in terms of the signatories,
the allocation,
and INEC is not saying that the addresses and the signatures are not attached.
They were made or they were fabricated.
That is what it looks like.
And of course, that's where politicians, they can go all way. They can go the extra mile to do and undo, especially when it's a case of when you have made up your mind to hang your dog, any rope will do. So that's exactly what they are doing.
Let me bring this angle, because there's a trending video where you can clearly see about 2 or 3 persons sat in a room signing for everybody.
No, sir, that's exactly what I talk about.
Maybe they want to rig the process.
When were those days?
Maybe they want to rig the process.
It will not work. Those days of 2-3 people, some printing ballot papers and stuffing it, registering 46,000 people, and the entire 46,000 people will vote in one particular local government. When were those days in Nigeria? Our democracy is evolving. It's growing. We are getting there gradually. Those days of 2 or 3 people sitting, trying to collect signatures to nail people. When were those days? It will not see the light of the day. It will collapse like a pack of badly arranged poker cards. I don't see Natasha going anywhere. The worst case scenario, the worst they can do to him is what has been done already, suspending him in the Senate. But as for the recall proper, forget it. It will not see the light of the day. It is not in bad faith, and I don't see any reason why they would want to do. I don't know what they even be tend to gain by so doing. For crying out loud, he has just 2 years or thereabout, 2 years more to spend in that office. Why now allow the gentlewoman to spend the remaining 2 years bettering our democracy, hearing our views, expressing our opinion, and as long as he doesn't violate the right and the civil right of others.
Okay, now, lastly, let me take you to the angle of the man Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay, lastly,
what is the situation where the Court of Appeal ruled that Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinary rendition for Kenya to Nigeria, and so he will be released unconditionally. Consequent upon that, we are seeing UN working group on arbitrary detention asking federal government to release the man unconditionally. Federal government decided to appeal that case. At the point, the case was reassigned to another judge. Currently, we have Judge Omotosho who is handling it. We have seen several efforts to seek political solutions to Nnamdi Kanu's travail. We have seen the lives of Senator Enara Baribe leading his colleagues from the southeastern part of the country, meeting with the Nigerian Federation. We have seen so many interventions from minority caucus in the House of Rep, come to Mr. President to release the man, all seem to have gotten a headway. What is your position about the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, either politically or through the law court?
I've always advocated for the latter. That's the political solution. So I've always advocated that for us to make headway in this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu case, the best way out is for us to apply a political solution in such a way that the eggers around Mr. President and the leaders of thought from the southeast and people in the inner cabinet of Mr. President will come together in a round table. They will give you some terms and conditions. So that to ensure peace and stability, especially when it's eventually released. So I don't see. We have tried the law court. It's been legal gymnastics, legal acrobatics these last 10 years, and we seem to be making no headway. We seem to be making no progress. So having failed in that regard, I think the only alternative left to us now is to apply some sort of political solution. So it is not new. It is not a strange idea in the politics. I recall even in the days of the military, when our social crusaders, the likes of Dr. Bekor Ransome-Kuti, the likes of the late Shibanfayemi, and the rest of them, when they were advocating, then when they were involved in social re-engineering, when they were all over the street, campaigning for the restoration of democracy, for the validation of actualization of June 12 and what have you. So on several occasions they were released on compassionate ground. That some were released on health grants, some were released to go and mental family affairs to go.
Let me bring this
angle. So the same can be applied in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Someone like Professor Woloshenka has consistently maintained that Biafra is an ideology, that you can only defeat it through the ideological point of view. Because we have a situation where Nnamdi is arrested. Before you knew it, Samonepa sprang up in Finland. Samonepa is currently detained by Finnish authorities. As we have it, we have someone like Dr. Ngozi Oraboze holding brief for him. Yes. So it looks as if the man, Professor Woloshenka, is right that Biafra is an ideology, cannot defeat it through the battle of gun.
Definitely. It's much more than Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself. Don't forget Biafra predated Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Don't forget like 10, 15 years ago, we have this gentleman in the saddle, Maso. And it's call it any other name, it's just a change in semantics. It's just a function of syntax. So you see the same philosophy, the same ideology,
the same goal,
the same aims and aspiration. So it's geared towards achieving the same thing. So the sovereignty of the people of the eastern part of the country. So it goes beyond. It started right from the days of Ojukwu, 67, preceding the civil war. So we should look beyond the gentleman there. So it's even easy for us to kill the messenger. But what happens to the message?
So the message is sustained.
And the message will be sustained if at all you succeed in silencing the messenger. So it's not about the messenger, it is about the message. That's the point being made.
Let's bring this
we should look beyond all that and ensure that the factors, the background factors responsible for all these keys in the system should be properly looked into and addressed, rather than the present characters in the vanguard. So it goes beyond the characters in the forefront today.
Okay, let me bring this angle. Because currently we have a situation where there is a UN chapter that talks about self-determination. Yes. Nigeria government is already a signatory to it. So by that singular act, by that singular act, self-determination is a law in Nigerian legal jurisprudence. So to that extent, if I should rise today and say I want my own sovereign state in my own jurisdiction, as long as I'm doing with the ambits of the law through self-determination, I don't have offended any known law, whether locally or internationally.
My brother, let's not be mischievous. I know where you are going.
Now the question.
I know where you are going.
Allow me to ask questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Now the question.
Go ahead and do.
Should the government go ahead to amend the constitution to remove self-determination from our law, to pave way, to bring forth, to suppress those who come through self-determination?
Originally, you said the UN Charter. Now you are talking about our law. Let's not contradict ourselves. You and I know quite well that the UN Charter on self-determination is at variance with the Nigerian Constitution as handed over to us in 1914. by the Lugadis movement, the Lord Lugard administration, as consolidated in the 1999 constitution, that wherever we operate a federal system of government like we have in Nigeria, any attempt to succeed by any part of it will be met with force. And no secession, no mention of secession is allowed. So it is clearly enshrined in our constitution. It is at variance with that UN Charter, and the problem now arises as to how do we harmonize, how do we reconcile what we have in the UN Charter with what you have in the Nigerian constitution.
Maybe I should bring this to your knowledge.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Recently, we had a session where about 19 state governors, through their respective attorney generals, approached Supreme Court, asking Supreme Court to invalidate the effect of EFCC, ICPC, and Financial Intelligence Unit because they were creation of UN Charter that were ratified in Nigeria. But in the wisdom of the Supreme Court, they heard that hence it has been ratified in Nigeria, that state governments cannot claim that it's not binding on them, that it is binding on them. In the same way, we are talking about a UN Charter that has been ratified in Nigeria. So do we now begin to choose and pick which ratification of UN we should apply because it do not favor federal government?
Exactly what I'm saying. You are merely trying to buttress and get me vindicated with what you just said. You see our politicians, they can be so clever, they can be so corny and mischievous at times in such a way that in certain sections of the law, the one that suits their whims and caprices at any point in time, that's what they go with, that's what they choose. So at a time when they find it convenient to go with the UN Charter, and you see them claiming, quoting the UN Charter conveniently, while the other time you see them pontificating, sermonizing us about the sanctity of the Nigerian constitution whenever it favors them to do so. And that's exactly what is happening in this particular case. So when they find it suitable, they find it, they deem it suitable to code the Nigerian constitution, they go with it. On the other hand, when they find it difficult, when they think it will galvanize their interest, it will promote their aims and agenda, they go with the UN Charter. That's exactly what they are doing here now. So the truth of the matter remains that some sections of the UN Charter is at variance with some provisions of the Nigerian constitution, and that's why we have the dilemma. So, and where do we go from here? So we continue to judge rather than war.
Now, lastly, talk to us about the push by Sultan and some problems of Sharia law, Sharia arbitration panel to force Sharia law and Sharia arbitration panel on the southwestern half, the Yorubas. Are you comfortable with it?
I don't know why some people, they love breathing their castles in the air. Certain things will not work in some certain parts of the country. How dare you talking about Sharia law in this same southwest I know pretty well? It will not work, it will fall, it will collapse. Like I said, it will collapse like a park of badly arranged cars. It will not see the light of the day. They are just toying with fire. So it is dead on arrival.
We have seen the chief imam of Lekki Central Mosque coming out clearly to say that the southwest is due for Sharia law. Hold on. We have seen a judge from Kwara talking about a judge from Court of Appeal coming down from to Lagos here to say that not even Mr. President had the power and right to deprive Muslims in southwest from establishing Sharia arbitration panels.
They are merely toying with it. That's why I say it is dead on arrival. One thing is for them to make ordinary FABA declaration. It's another thing for them to get it properly implemented, get it properly instituted into our body policy. So they are see it as merely expressing views, baseless views, aimless views, so tenuous opinions. So they will not see the light of the day. So I am a Christian. I've just introduced myself as a DK. So this past 2-3 days, I've had occasions to break fast with my Muslim brothers, my neighborhood. That's the kind of peaceful coexistence, the kind of harmony we are enjoying here in the southwest. And nobody can come from anywhere to come and truncate all that. So I don't see why some people, they want to create a storm in a teacup, a mountain out of the going.
But let me even bring it to your knowledge. Don't you think
quickly, because
Islam, Muslim is gaining ground everywhere in the country? Because even in the southern part of the country, where Islam is alien, currently we are seeing one man, Usman Tochukwu Iliasu, as chief imam of Abuja Central.
Imam Tochukwu.
So if they could gain ground in the southeast, don't you think is a walkover in the Southwest.
That's a one-sided statement. I tell you too, just like you believe, whether rightly or wrongly, that Islam is gaining ground in the Southeast. Some people in the North, they are equally of the opinion that Christianity is on the rise. Christianity is gaining ground daily. That churches, they are getting proliferated. Churches are springing forth every now and then. I think it depends on the angle from which you want to look at it. Christianity is also gaining ground. It's also making inroads, making culture into Adamawa, into some parts of Bauchi, in some parts of Kano, in some parts of, you go to Sabongeri Kano, go to Brigade in Kano, you go to Baga, you go to Bama in Borno, you see the advances that our Christian brothers have made over the past year. You go to different parts of the interior part of Nasarawa, you see the advances Christianity is making there. So I don't want when it borders on religion, ethnicity, tribalism, race, colors, I don't want us to pump up all those topics. They are based very petty topic to some of us. They mean no meaning to us. So we should rather begin to talk about things that will unite us, things that will better our Lord, things that will translate into concrete realities in our life. So we should de-emphasize all those things that will polarize us the more. So the issue of religion, especially in the Southwest, is a non-issue. The average Southwesterner seems to have overgrown order. It's nature, it's ethos, it's value system, it's religion, it's background, it's orientation, it's upbringing. Does not even allow for religious acrimony.
Somebody tell that interest is oriented by nature.
Yes.
And no, every human being has some level of sentiment. Whether towards religion, whether towards culture, whether towards ethnicity.
As long as you have blood, your system. As long as you have passion,
you have
emotion.
You outgrow your own.
With the benefit of experience, benefit of education, experience, exposure. I've stayed here since 1999. I went to school in the midst of my faculty in the University of Lagos was in mini Nigeria, comprising virtually all the 36 states of the Federation. We even have some non-Nigerians, and ditto for our neighborhood here in Ikeja, Lagos. We have Nigerians from all walks of life, from different parts of the country, and that's been able to sharpen your intellect. It's been able to broaden your horizon. It's been able to widen your scope in such a way that you don't see this man as a man from Calabar any longer. I don't see my brother as Toshuku from Abia. I believe in the humanity of us all. I believe in brotherhood of mankind in general, regardless of where it is found. I don't believe in race. I don't believe in color. So, and that's the kind of orientation. So that I'm advocating wherever I go. That's the kind of message I preach wherever I turn. That people, they should rise above all these primordial, base, petty sentiment, and rise up for the development, for the growth, for peace, unity of our nation, for to better our motherland. That should be our preoccupation. That should be our priority, not what we further polarize or segregate or disunite us. So the issue of religion, whether in the Southeast or the Southwest, it should be downplayed. It should rank so low. We have some other higher issues, bigger issues confronting the nation, rather than to dissipate our energy, our effort on issues as base, as I call them base, as a pet, as minor, as a religion.
I think I must say, Rabbi, thank you for your time. This is a good place to let it go.
It's a delight to be on the program.
Thank you very much.
I feel so appreciated. I feel so respected.
And I'm Mr. Batu. We hope to have you next time.
All right. It's going to be a delight to be around some other time too.
Thank you very much.